What is going on, everybody? In today's video, we're going to be talking about the products and materials that I use to clean and detail this bad boy. So I'm going to go over the list that I use. These are not paid sponsorships by any means. It's just the products that I end up, finding at the local auto parts store and using those just because they've either been recommended or I've had good experience with them. I'm always open to different products and brands, but these are just the ones I've been using. The reason I need to get those products and refill my stock and also tell you what I'm using is because this Thursday I'm gonna need this car squeaky clean because there's a special event coming up that I will tell you about when we get on the road and inside the car. So first, let's kick it off with showing you the materials and the products that I use, and then we'll hit the road to go to the local O'Reilly so that I can fill up on some additional products that I'm going to be using when I'm cleaning this car. So these are the materials that I mainly use to clean my car. The first is, a good chamois or towel that can dry off your vehicle once it's wet. You always have to have a handful of other chamois for polishing, waxing, just drying the car, a lot of different purposes. I do use, this is a lambskin kind of towel. It's good for drying the vehicle and keeping it clean and not leaving any type of residue that this towel sometimes leaves. Although I end up most of the time just using this towel just because it's a larger surface area, so I'm able to dry it a little bit quicker than this one. But if you've never used a lambskin towel, it works pretty well. As for the materials I use for actually cleaning my car, in no particular order, I do use this Meguiar's Next Tech Wax 2.0. Honestly, I'm not getting any paid sponsorship from any of these brands. It's plainly just one that I picked up at either AutoZone or O'Reilly, and it's worked well. I've had this one probably for several years, and one bottle has lasted me for that long. I've used it on multiple cars, previously on my Mercedes, now on my Challenger. It works really well. I like how it kind of cleans up, and it even gets rid of some of the imperfections in the paint, or at least covers it up. And it works, again, really well. I like it. I'm not married to this brand. I'd be down to try something else, but this has worked for me, and it's lasted me for 2 years, so I haven't had to buy a different brand and try it out. So a pretty good wax right there if you need it. I got this one just last summer. This is a water spot remover. And this will just remove any hard water residue from sprinklers or something like that. That happens when, it can ruin the paint. So this is really helpful to get rid of it. It does take a little bit of effort. So I had some on the hood of my car, and it took me a good probably 15-20 minutes just to kind of, rub it in with some of these towels in order for it to remove that water spot. So it does take a little bit of effort, but it does work. The next thing I use, so these are the little chamois or waxing pads I use with this one. This came with one, but I was like I said, this is a few years old, so it ended up dying out, and so I had to purchase these. These usually come in a pack of 5 or 6 for several dollars, so you can really get a lot from those if you get it at AutoZone or O'Reilly. And wax on, wax off, Karate Kid style. Next up, this is a Speed Shine. This one was recommended to me at a car show that I went to. This is actually just like a quick polish. So if you get to a car show and the car happens to be a little dirty, you kind of spray this on a towel or spray this on the car and rub it in. It's almost like Windex. You can use it multi-purpose for anything. It's not as good as a regular polish, and sometimes it can make the car a little dirty if you don't use it correctly or if you don't have a clean towel. But it does work. I use it at car shows all the time. I clean the car the day before, and then the next day when I'm actually at the car show, I use this to kind of clean off the vehicle from some of the residue from driving over. So really good for quick cleanings at car shows, kind of a last minute detailing step. Next up, we have Trim Shine, which is, again, this is several years old. All of these things have lasted me for a pretty long time, even though I detail my car pretty often. A lot of these last for a while. This is only purchased probably back in May 2018, and it's lasted me up through right now, which is, January 2019. That's how much I've used. So, it lasts a while. This Trim Shine, like I said, is several years old. It's really good for hard plastics. So these areas right here, this isn't metal or anything. It's just black plastic, but it kind of restores the color, makes it shine. It's almost like Armor All, but in a can. So that's how that works. I don't use it very often, especially on like some of the vehicles I've had that don't really have these types of trim pieces like down here, but you know, it still does work pretty well when you need it. So next up we have tire foam. This has got to be probably my favorite of all time accessory or you know, detailing thing that I use. This just makes your tires look wet, oftentimes known as wet tire if you buy other brands, but this is Armor All. Again, I'm not married to any of these brands. These are just ones that I've picked up either because you know, I like the graphic, or it's because they've recommended it to me at those auto supply stores. So I think this one was recommended to me because sometimes the tire foam or wet tire doesn't stay on for very long. I've had a pretty good experience with this. This will last you probably a day or two, which, you know, in my experience is amazing because sometimes it barely even noticeable after you apply it. This one is definitely noticeable. It just doesn't last super long, but it does work. I like the foam more than the spray because I feel like the foam covers and more of a surface area, and then it kind of penetrates in through the rubber to kind of last a little bit longer than the spray. I don't think the spray penetrates the tire as much as this does, but again, that's not scientific proof. So that's something I use. Next up we have, got a broken cap, Invisible Glass. I really like this glass cleaner. This is a brand that I stick to. It really is, it's tint safe, so it has no ammonia in here, so that's good for any of you cars out there that have tint. You can use it inside or outside. I even you know, use this on multiple surfaces. It's primarily for glass, so if you have hard water deposits like I mentioned over there, or you know, you just need to clean off your windshield and your windows after you've washed the car and you have some water streaks, this is perfect. I usually just use this with a paper towel, and it works fantastic, but you're welcome to use it with one of these. So this is kind of an all-purpose cleaner, but specifically for glass. Next up, we're finishing up. This is a wheel and tire cleaner. This one I'm not in love with, to be honest. It works okay. The reason I still have it is because I bought it and there's still a little bit left, but it, you know, and I mentioned this in the video about the things that I hate about my Dodge Challenger is that sometimes the tires, the wheels are really hard to clean. And, you know, I blamed it on the cleaner, so I might be giving this a little bit less credit than what it deserves, but it could just be my car and the wheels that I have that don't clean very well, and the brake dust, of course. That's probably the biggest reason, but it doesn't work amazingly well, but it does kind of spruce it up. And usually before I go and get this car washed, I just spray this on the tire, on the wheel, excuse me, and you know, I'll take it to the car wash and then I'll wash off later. The last thing actually in here is something that have never tried, but I'm going to experiment with because this isn't the best product for me. I'm going to use this, you know, wheel scrub over here. It's pretty soft bristles overall, but it's supposed to be good for cleaning out some of that brake dust that you have in the vehicle. So I'm going to be using this to, you know, today, after I spray this on, I'm going to use this to kind of scrape around the inside of the wheel to get some of that brake dust loose, and then take it through the car wash so that I can wash this out and wash out the wheels and make sure that they're clean. But other than that, folks, that's pretty much all I use. I'm going to be running to the auto supply store, so I'm going to be running to an O'Reilly today to get some more materials. I think I need some cleaner shams because these are pretty filthy. I might get a new one of these. And then there are some other things that I might pick up at the auto supply store, like paper towels, etc., because of the event that's coming up this Thursday. I'm going to need all that stuff. I might also pick up a waterless wash cleaner, so we'll see what that is, but I'm gonna pick that up as well. So let's hit the road and let's go to the O'Reilly. I also forgot to mention I used this little duster that I got at Home Depot. This is really helpful around the springtime when it doesn't rain or snow or anything, but there's a lot of pollen, so this will dust off the car and keep it clean, especially at car shows. So I do recommend getting one of these if you have a lot of pollen or dust in your area. All right, so now let's do the first startup of the new year. I haven't actually started this car since last year. So you may be wondering, what is this event that I speak of that I have to have my car ready for by this Thursday? Well, starting this Friday, which is January 18th, all the way through Martin Luther King Jr. Day, which is Monday, January 21st, my car will be at the Utah International Auto Expo. Now, you may recall this event from videos I've made in the past. Usually every year I make a video about me going to this Utah International Auto Expo at the Mountain America Expo Center. And I kind of just talk about all the new cars that are on the market. And sometimes we're lucky enough to have some of the same cars that are announced just recently in the news, maybe even in Detroit. And I think this show coincides with the same one in Detroit, but much smaller, of course. So it's just a way for a lot of different dealerships around town and a lot of different tours of these automobile manufacturers to come through this city and kind of show off their latest vehicles. Well, lucky for me and thankfully to Salt City Mopars, which I have mentioned in this video before. They were actually on the car cruise that I went on back in October. But thankfully to Salt City Mopars, they were able to get a display or kind of a floor plan for a lot of local Mopar, Dodge, Jeep, Chrysler vehicles. And so thankfully they had a slot open and I was able to get in. So starting this Thursday, I'm actually delivering this car to the Mountain America Expo Center, and it's going to be there all weekend long. And I'm not moving it or anything. So this is going to be a very important event, hopefully for this channel as well, because I will pass out some cards and I'll have all my magnetic posters and stuff on. So hopefully this will grow the channel and bring some new viewers to view all the videos that I've put up. But it'll be an amazing opportunity because of that, but also because I get to showcase this beautiful monster that I have and have other people kind of look at it. It's always fun, especially in the wintertime. There's not very many car shows going on, so it's really kind of a dull time, and I keep this car most of the time just under a carport. It doesn't really see the roads or anything like that, so this is a really cool kind of fun event for the wintertime, and I'm really excited to have this happen. So huge thank you to Salt City Mopars for organizing this event, and I think MotorTrend is involved as well. So nonetheless, I am super stoked, and I definitely have to have this car in tip-top shape because there's going to be thousands and thousands of people who walk by and see this car. So any speck of dust under all of that expo lighting is going to be exposed and look pretty bad. So I got to make sure it's clean. The only problem is that well, it's going to be snowing and raining this week, and even on the day that I deliver it, it's going to be probably the worst weather. So hopefully, I really hope the snow doesn't stick to the road, because that will make my commute hell and maybe even impossible for me to get down there. So hopefully it doesn't get too bad, and I know this car is just going to get ruined this week in terms of dust and weather and a bunch of crap, but I'm gonna try to keep it as clean as possible, and that's why I'm cleaning it today, because it is the weekend and I'm able to do that, whereas during the weekday, as soon as I get off work, it's dark, so I couldn't really create a video for you guys. All right, so just pulling up to the O'Reilly Auto Parts here. Let's grab some supplies. All right, so I ended up getting some new chamois. Might as well, because you can never have too many of these. They get dirty pretty quick. So got some of that. I also got myself some waterless wash and wax. Say that 3 times fast. I got this because even though it's similar to that quick polish that I use on my car, which I showed in the trunk of my vehicle, this is a little bit different because it includes the wax as well, but they're really the same thing. This one I think just cleans dirt a little bit better than the other one, so this will be nice. Once I get to the auto show, I can clean up the car if it was snowing or raining that day. So it's in this case, it's better to have more than less, just in case one does not work. I have this one to use, and vice versa. So those are really the only 2 things that I got. Everything else I pretty much have. I'm just going to grab some paper towels from home. But aside from that, let's hit the car wash and get all the dust off from the exterior. And we're going to use this and this to try clean the wheels before I take it into the car wash. So I just got back from the car wash, and the car's not looking too bad. It usually is a little bit dirtier than this, so I think the car wash treatment was a very good job. As you can see, there's no more dust as there was last time, so overall a really good job. Now my plan was to wax and detail the rest of this car, and then, you know, clear up some of the windows with that window washer that I was showing you guys, that window spray. I was going to clean up the wheels and then spray some wet tire after I did all the waxing, but unfortunately it is going to be raining and snowing the next few days, or intermittently over the next few days, so it's probably not a good idea for me to do all of that work only to have to do it again Thursday at the Auto Expo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until I get to the Auto Expo on Thursday, and then I will, you know, film the video of how I'm waxing and polishing and cleaning up the windows and the wheels and the tires of this car, and so that way you know kind of what I do. But I went over all the products that I use, so you know what those are, so when you watch the next video I'm not going to re-explain those. I also forgot to bring up some of the cool stuff I got for Christmas for my car. So the first is actually from my girlfriend's parents, so let me pull it out here real quick. But they got me these little Scat Pack emblem tire covers. So they're for these little covers down here. So instead of this metal that has no shape on it, this might even be plastic, we'll have these little Scat Pack emblems, and they look really cool. I really like how they turn out, and it's going to be a little subtle touch to the car that I think will make it a little bit more unique. So huge thanks to my girlfriend's parents for giving me that. And then also from my girlfriend's aunt and uncle, they gave me these cool little car coasters over here. So these are supposed to go into the cup holder, and they're supposed to kind of just, decorate it a little bit, add a little bit of an accessory. So really cool for that. Also, my brother got me some really awesome business cards that I'll show you probably this Thursday. I'm going to be passing them out at the event. I think it'll help grow the channel even more. But yeah, as for that, those are some of the accessories I got. I got some more that I will be making videos of, but these are just some of the ones that came to the top of my head, aside from those other ones you'll see in the future. So again, huge thanks to everybody out there, my family, my friends, that got me a lot of car accessories. I'm really excited to use those. And overall, these little Scat Pack tire cover are really cool. So I like those. I think will be a really nice touch. But until next time, folks, be sure to find me at the Utah Auto Expo if you guys are there at any point in the weekend. I'm going to try to be there for most of the time. I can't guarantee that I'll be there every minute of every single day, but if I am there, definitely stop by and say hi to me. Feel free to reach out and we can have a conversation. I can show you the cars. So if you are at the Mountain America Expo Center in Sandy, Utah, this upcoming weekend, Martin Luther King Jr. Day weekend, then be sure to stop by and say hi to me and my car. It's going to be in a much cleaner look than it is right now, because even though it's not too bad, it's going to look even better. It's going to be spotless. So, and I've got all the materials that I need to make that happen, because I went to the O'Reilly earlier today. But until next time, folks, I hope you like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content, and catch me this following weekend at the Mountain America Expo Center. Take care. Have a wonderful day.